All right, guys, welcome to the Chooches. My name is Breck Kennedy. This is my cousin Danica, and she is 16 years old, and she has never driven a manual before. So, have you ever tried it before?
No, never.
Nothing at all.
No.
Yeah, so I figured we have a nice Lotus here. This should be perfect to teach someone how to drive stick in.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully I'm a good teacher, and hopefully for you guys, if you don't know, hopefully I explain it good enough that maybe you can learn something. I can't promise anything though, so let's see how this goes, and hopefully, Lotus will remain intact after this. So fingers crossed.
You just
correct. You just pull this. Yes, you just yank that when you want to park.
That's crazy.
So to start off, you want to put that foot, obviously push the brake so the car will be like stop. And you want to push the clutch all the way in.
All right.
All the way to the floor. Make sure it clicks.
All right.
So now you take the parking brake off. So it's like it's in neutral now. You have to pull up a little bit as you're pushing the button, and then it'll go all the way down. Yep. And then the brake light will come off the dash there.
Okay.
So then you take this with the clutch in and you put it in one. So it'll be.
I don't even know how to put it in one.
You'll just push it over and up.
That's
in one. You'll feel it kind of click in.
All right.
So now you can take your foot off the brake and then very slowly let off the clutch. And you'll feel it. Watch for the RPMs and then stop when you see it go down a little bit.
Ooh.
So you let off too quick and
okay.
So if you let off too quick, it'll do that and it'll.
Why does it
die.
Kill the car?
I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you that. I don't know the exact step. Yeah. So that's kind of the.
Well, now I gotta figure out how to start.
So then you So it should, because we already did the stupid Lotus starting thing. Just push the clutch back in. Make sure it's back in neutral. So take it out and then the key to just pull it back. You'll kind of feel it. It'll go into place naturally. And then if you can shake it back and forth, that's how you know it's in neutral.
All right.
So then you just push the clutch back in all the way, and then you hit the start button again. You gotta hold it till it starts. Yep.
Okay.
So now you can let the foot off the clutch and it won't do anything. It'll be fine. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna do anything.
So now we're gonna do the whole process.
So now you gotta do that all over again. Yep.
The brake first.
The brake first. And that's just more so like to make sure you don't roll anywhere, right? So then just put the clutch all the way in.
All right.
And then you can take your foot off the brake. And then, or you can put it into gear first. I mean, that's probably what you should do, is put it into gear first. But obviously, we're on a pretty flat piece of land here.
Right.
And then, just very slowly, I said, let off the clutch.
All right.
And then when it starts moving, you'll want to give it gas.
Okay.
Or when you see the RPMs drop.
Okay, so it dropped a little bit.
So keep letting off just a little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more.
I'm scared.
Right there. Give it gas. I'll let all the way off.
Woo!
Now you started.
Okay.
So obviously you want to, the smoother you are with it, it won't kick obviously as hard. But now you're kind of moving. So you can just kind of slow roll over into the nice gas station parking lot.
I'm scared to do anything.
Well, you're moving. Now the hard part's over. That's the worst part is starting.
Okay.
I'll show you the video later and I'll clip it in here of when I drove stick for the first time. I stalled it quicker than you. Oh yeah, I did the same thing. It literally was like that.
And then give it a little bit of gas. Not that much.
It's a really tiny bit.
Yeah, like just a hair, and then slowly release the clutch.
Oof. Stall it.
Yeah. See,
I killed it. Oh yeah. So obviously right now you'll be like, it won't stall as long as you keep moving.
Okay.
And then you can just kind of get a feel for it. So when you are ready to stop, you'll basically just do the opposite of that. You'll push the clutch in first, and then you'll come to a complete stop.
Okay.
And then obviously whenever you feel ready to do that.
All right. Well.
Because keep in mind, obviously we'll have to you have to start again. It's a little easier to not be having to turn while you start.
Okay. Well. Gosh.
Can you tell it doesn't have power steering, by the way?
It's
not too bad, right?
It's not that as bad as I thought it'd be, but you can feel it definitely.
It's worse when you're like trying to get out of a really tight spot and you're not moving at all. That's when you really feel it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I should come to a. All right, teach me how to come to a stop.
Yep. So whenever you're ready, just push the clutch all the way in, and then hit the brakes. Make sure it touches the ground. The clutch does.
Oh.
And then you pull it out of gear.
Into neutral?
Yep. Put it in neutral, and now you can let your foot off the clutch.
Okay.
And it won't die.
Okay.
So that's basically, you did it.
Okay, but how do I go up in gear?
You want to do shifting next?
Well, what is next?
You don't have to get used to that, but yeah, I can show you how to shift if you want to do that next.
What's the purpose of shifting a car? I've never
shifted gears. So with the your car, obviously you have an automatic. You have a Dodge Caliber.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put it in that, it'll choose the gear for you. So if you watch, if you put your foot all the way to the floor, it'll go as high as it can normally for revs. But if you're just doing it light, it'll choose how fast it is. So basically what it's doing is it's how fast the engine is rotating, and then when it goes to a next gear, it lowers the engine speed so it can use that power to continue accelerating. Because in first gear you can only rev the engine so high, and most cars can't go above 60 in first gear. So if you only have one gear, you'd have terrible gas mileage, and you'd also like not be able to go above 60. So that's basically why you shift anyway. Now the only difference is, most people, you see your car doing it for you. But with this, you have more control doing this, but it's also more difficult because you have to know how to do it, and you have to really it's different in every situation, correct? And I would say it took me probably a year of doing this before I even could stop thinking about it. The first year I did it, it was constantly what gear am I in? Am I doing it right? And it does take a while, but it's good that you've only getting on the second try. It took me probably 5 tries.
Well, did you have somebody teaching you though?
Mike, my stepdad.
Really?
Yep, it was in his Jeep, so I was nervous, but
yeah,
it's not too bad. So next we'll do shifting. Okay, when you're ready, just push take your foot off the gas, clutch in, pull it straight back into second. You want the clutch all the way in. Keep pulling. Yep, let it off the clutch. All right. Now give it gas.
All right. And that's already second?
Yep. And now because we were going kind of slow, that's why you felt it kind of shudder a little bit. If you're going faster, it wouldn't normally shudder.
What do I do now?
We'll just go back to the same loop, and then we'll have you stop again.
Okay. So when do you have it go from second to first? When should you do that?
Personally, I only go back into first if I come to a complete stop. Usually if I'm still rolling, you can usually get away with still being in second. Okay. Sometimes if it's first, you get a little you'll kick forward kind of hard. So I find it's a little more natural to go into second, but then if I completely stop, I start at first. Okay. So when you're ready to stop, you just do the same thing. You push the clutch in, you come to a stop, and you put the stick back in neutral. Okay.
It's a lot easier than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, I said
it really is.
It seems intimidating, and it's really you have to do this first before you go on the string. If you do this and at least know what you're feeling for, it's a lot less scary because it's you know what you're looking for. The worst part for me was always taking off. I never had a big problem with shifting. I thought that was pretty self-explanatory, but it's more so just getting the the feeling for when is the car gonna die? Is it gonna be okay? Stuff like that.
I'm just going in circles because I'm scared to slow down. So how do you brake? You just let it.
So if you're slowing down from this speed, you don't have to push the clutch in unless you're coming to a complete stop. Okay. So you can still, as long as the RPMs don't go too low, you can let off the gas and just coast, and that's fine. That's not going to do anything. Right. But obviously if you go too slow, you could stall the car. If you were in fifth gear and you start slowing down a lot, you could stall the car out if you didn't catch it in time, basically. So. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. As you can see, the Lotus is still in my garage in one piece. So if you don't know how to drive a stick, I hope that I was at least somewhat informative to you. So if you guys have any questions, leave any comments, constructive criticism, anything like that, please let us know in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And you got to say, the first manual car you ever drove was a Lotus, too. That's pretty cool.
I'm with all my friends.
Do they know what Lotuses are in Mississippi?
Probably not.
Most of them probably learned how to drive in their dad's old 1980 diesel truck or something like that. Yeah. That's probably
my friend. That's
I hit it on the nose. Yeah.
When you come to a stop at a stop sign, do you have to do all that?
Yep. And then that's why a lot of times too, a lot of people that drive stick, they don't come to complete stops because it's easier to, it doesn't take as much to take back off.
Okay.